Backed up by U.S. air power, Turkey sent both tanks and special operations forces into northern Syria early Wednesday morning in what up until this point is now their largest involvement in the Syrian conflict so far, and it had immediate effect. By evening, Syrian rebel fighters declared that they had taken control of the Islamic State's stronghold, the town of Jarabulus, and its surroundings, considered a major supply line for ISIS in northern Syria. Turkish officials said one rebel fighter was killed, but no Turkish troops died. And so this involvement by both the Turkish military and the U.S. military in an air sense was intended to back up some of the rebel forces in that area and push back against ISIS, which had been gaining in power and influence in that region, and they've now taken them out of an important city. President Obama's chief spokesman, Josh Earnest, called the Turkish assault an indication of important progress in the campaign against the Islamic State. Joe Biden also speaking favorably about the military action in the wake of it, and also about some of the reasons that it was launched. We do know one of the main ones, though. The assault came days after Turkey vowed to cleanse its borders of the Islamic State after a deadly suicide attack at a Kurdish wedding killed at least 54 people. The militant group was blamed for the attack. And we're going to return to the Kurds shortly, because there might be some secondary and tertiary motivations for Turkey to get involved in the way that they have. But it's always good to see ISIS pushed out of a major city. Regardless of what happens, this is a significant improvement of the quality of life for the people there.
So I love this story, not just because they drove ISIS out of that town, but because finally cooler heads have prevailed and we're making deals. And when I say we, I actually mean the whole world, the U.S., the Turks, the Russians, the Kurds. So what's the deal here? What's actually happening behind the scenes, and why is it such a positive development? So in the past, Turkey had been reluctant to go after ISIS for a number of reasons. Significant reporting out that perhaps some oil was being transacted upon through the Turkish border, with some people in Turkey, including possibly the Turkish government, benefiting significantly from that oil transactions, let alone their affiliations with Sunnis and against the Shia-backed government of Assad in Syria. And they thought, if ISIS takes down Assad, am I really that unhappy, given the Sunni-Shia fight, etc.? So Turkey had not been very cooperative in the fight against ISIS for a long, long time. So now there was a coup attempt in Turkey. The Turkish government was irate at the American government, because at a minimum, they believe that we are protecting Fethullah Gulen, who is a Turkish citizen, who's a Muslim fundamentalist that lives in Pennsylvania. They believe he was behind the coup. That's at a minimum. At a maximum, there are a lot of people in Turkey who think that America was behind the coup.
Yeah.
And then we did not show a great deal of support in the early hours of the coup. After it looked like it was going to fail, we showed a lot of support, right? So,
yeah, it was more like a, you guys are bad.
Oh, no, coups against democracy is a bad idea. It really is.
But if there was anything beyond sort of like tacit approval or perhaps a knowledge that something might happen, if there was more than that, then this has to go down as the weakest coup since the Bay of Pigs, basically.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It didn't even last as long.
And look, we don't have any details on how much America was involved, if at all. And I think the leading theory is actually that the Gulen supporters in Turkey probably acted alone when they realized that Erdogan was going to round them up. They did a preemptive strike. That's why it was botched, because it was put together in a hurry when they found out that they were on a list. Okay, now, but we don't know that. So that's all the bad news.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit more bad news.
Okay.
We're reading in these reports that a lot of the Turkish media is sort of advancing the idea that we were behind the coup.
Yes.
But that's not as scary as it might be, because there is a strict wall of separation between the Turkish media and the Turkish government. So they're not involved in. Oh wait.
No.
Okay.
So there used to be. Turkey had a great press.
Yeah.
But Erdogan's, who's the president of Turkey, has been ripping that down for a long time and replacing it with his lackeys. And then actually there's a couple of pieces of more bad news before we get to the good news of today, is that the Kurds and the Turks have been fighting for a long time. And so the Syrian Kurds were, in the minds of the Turkish government, cooperating with the rebel Kurds against Turkey, within Turkey. Okay, so plenty of bad news. So why is this great? So now Biden goes and says, okay, you know what? We're going to do two things. One, I'm here showing great support for Erdogan's government, which there should be no coups against. Okay. All right, good. Check. All right, that's America's side of the deal. Another side of the deal, which is very important, is Biden says, now the Turkish government demands that the Kurds be on a certain side of the Euphrates River. I think
it's that they move to the western side, basically, and they need to push back from the new territory that they've recently taken over to more historically held territory.
So you now pull back Kurdish forces and go to the western side of the Euphrates.
Yeah.
It's very important that you do that. By the way, the Turks are saying, no, look, here's how important it is. I'm glad that Biden is saying that and saying America will withdraw support from you, including air power, if you don't. Because otherwise, I'm going to go clean it up myself. And then we're going to have a holy mess on our hands as Turkey fights the Syrian government, the Kurdish, Syrians, and ISIS, which are all three different groups.
I have a little bit more on the Kurds, but I do love that apparently we hadn't been showing sufficient support for the government of Turkey until they crushed a coup and began to stamp out any resistance in academia, the press, the judges, the police, and now we send our vice president. It's amazing how America works.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it took that part.
Yeah,
so I'll get to the rest of the good news.
So let's talk about the Kurdish angle. So Turkish officials indicated that the operation on Wednesday sought in part to warn Kurds working in Syria alongside American Special Operations Forces against marching on Jarabulus. Foreign Minister Mr. Cavusoglu warned that the Kurdish militias must move east of the Euphrates River, away from the Turkish border, saying specifically, if they fail to do so, we will do what is necessary, dun, dun, dun. And then, so this is Erdogan speaking, saying, Turkey is, the explanation for why they did this. Turkey is determined for Syria to retain its territorial integrity and will take matters into its own hands if required to protect that territorial unity. We have only ever sought to help the people of Syria and have no other intention.
No, he would never have any other
Which is horrifying. And by the way, so they're like, sovereignty for Syria is great. That's what we're going to fight for. Meanwhile, Syrian government puts out a statement saying, dude, get the hell out of our, what are you doing? Get out, you're not supposed to be here.
Right.
And even Russia's like tutting.
So, but that's also part of the good news. Now, so I told you about the American side of the deal. Hey, Kurds back off, otherwise you won't get air power, and Biden goes and sanctions Erdogan. The Turkish side of the deal is, okay, fine, we'll clean up ISIS. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you're having trouble taking Jarabulus? Yeah, we're done with that. Okay. And it was like this. Ba-ding! There goes ISIS. Okay, wow, mighty ISIS. All the Turkish army had to do was walk over the other side of the border at 4 a.m. and go, I don't think so, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was that. And there's video of now the new Syrian forces with their flags parading around town, and you see the old ISIS flags in the deserted streets as they ran away.
Yes. Okay. I look forward to the horrific things those new conquerors will do in that region, but it's still, it's new.
Yes. So now, and finally, to the Russians. So the Russians in the past were like, no, we support the Syrian government and that's it, and that's what we're going to do. And now they're like, oh, you crossed the border. Tut, tut, you should not have done that. In other words, yeah, okay, we can live with it. Okay? Yeah. And so you're thinking, all of these guys have basically decided, okay, we're done with ISIS. Now we're going to work together, okay? Yeah. And hey, Kurds, know your role, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you're Kurdish, especially if you're in Syria, you might not love that, but at least you're
they have been very helpful up until this point.
That's right. But at least you're hopefully going to be rid of ISIS, and you will love that.
Yes.
And then in terms of what we're going to do with the Assad government, the Turkish government used to say, no, he must go. He must go. We're not going to negotiate if he doesn't go. Now they're saying, it would be pleasant if he went. Okay, we've softened that as well. We're making a deal.
Yeah.
Good. This is a good deal. Hopefully, hurts ISIL a lot. See, when we talk about fighting smart, this is what we're talking about. It doesn't mean not fighting. It also doesn't mean carpet bombing and going, I don't know, I hope they land in the right place. Our bombs are smart enough, right? Or the Russians who are like, no need for smart bombs. I'm actually going to do carpet bombing.
Yeah.
No, this is how you make alliances and you make deals, and not everybody's ecstatic. They don't all get what they want, but we get enough of a transaction so that we can get rid of the worst of the bad guys, which in this case is ISIS.
Although perhaps along the way, allying and helping prop up with legitimacy the government of another bad guy.
That's right, and it is complicated, and there are downsides. And by the way, one of the downsides in a move that at least I'm celebrating because of, we're getting rid of ISIS and we're all working together, is Turkey did cross the border of Syria, which is not a great thing, and we should probably not encourage that overall.
Yeah.
Let's hope that it's temporary. Support independent media by becoming a member of the Young Turks at tytnetwork.com/join.